All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, the idea of creating wealth through fair exchange, based on an Islamic framework. We're pulling these ideas from a great article by Shahid and Ambreen Sultan, published in the International Journal of Finance and Economics. Let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with a big question, one that really gets to the heart of this whole thing. What actually makes the creation of wealth fair and just? It's a fundamental puzzle, and this framework offers a really unique way to solve it. Okay, so to even begin talking about wealth, we've got to go back to the beginning. Where does it all come from? This first part is all about understanding the foundation of all provision. Think about it. Way back when, survival was pretty straightforward, right? You farmed, you raised animals, you hunted. It was all about getting what you needed directly from the world around you. And according to this framework, that whole process was guided by a divine hand from the very start. But here's the core belief that changes everything. Behind all that human effort, the ultimate provider, the one who sustains all of creation, is God, known here as Arab, the sustainer. I mean, think about that. The idea is that one single source is fulfilling every need for everyone, everywhere. It's the bedrock of this entire way of thinking. So if there's one single sustainer, that leads to a really interesting question. How are we supposed to share all those resources? Well, that brings us to the sacred method of trade, the prescribed way to circulate wealth. And that method has a name, tijara. It's a powerful word for trade. And it's not just, buying and selling stuff. It's presented as the prescribed, sanctioned way to get the wealth you need from others. And the key is that it has to be through a deal you both agree on. But why is trade so important? I mean, why not just get what you need directly? Well, it's pretty practical when you think about it. Nobody has everything, right? We all have different skills, different stuff. We live in different places. And making things costs money and time. So trade becomes this incredible engine that connects all of that. And this is where it gets really profound. Because trade is doing this vital job of moving God's provisions around. It stops being just about business. It gets elevated. It becomes this sacred duty. You're not just a merchant. You're acting as a true vicegerent, a representative of God on earth. That's a huge shift in perspective. All right, so if trade is the way, how do you know if you're doing it right? Let's talk about profit versus usurpation and drawing that all-important ethical line. And the line they draw is crystal clear. On one side, you've got legitimate profit. That's what you earn in a fair trade, and it's seen as a reward for helping someone else out. The magic ingredient? Mutual goodwill. You both walk away feeling good about the deal. But on the other side, you have usurpation, which is a big no-no. That's taking something unjustly, maybe through force or deception, basically any deal where that mutual goodwill is missing. One is a just reward, the other is completely off the table. This whole idea of fairness brings up an even deeper question, doesn't it? It's about effort, fate, and fortune, and that amazing interplay between human choice and divine will. Now, this framework is super clear on one thing. Your effort matters a lot. It totally recognizes that you use your skills, your brain, and your hard work to make things happen. What you do is a huge piece of the puzzle. And there's this amazing concept for it called taqdir-i mu'allaq. It basically means the part of your destiny that depends on what you do. So whether you make a profit or a loss, a lot of that is seen as a direct result of the choices you're making day in and day out. But wait, that's only half the story. Running right alongside that is another concept, taqdir-i mubram. And that's the part of your destiny that's already fixed, the part that's in God's hands. So you have this incredible dual system, right? A part you control with your actions and a part that's, well, just meant to be. And this quote really brings it all home. The idea is that God withholds or gives plentifully as a test. So having a lot of money or having very little isn't just an economic status. It's seen as a trial, a test of your character, your gratitude, and your patience. Phew, we've covered some deep stuff there. So let's take a second and just nail down the key takeaways. What are the big ideas to remember about wealth through exchange? Okay, let's break it down. 4 key pillars. First, the ultimate source of everything is God, our Rabb. Second, the right way to circulate all that stuff is through trade, tijara. Third, profit is awesome, but only if the deal is fair and everyone agrees. And fourth, what happens to you financially is this wild mix of your own choices, that's taqdir mu'allaq, and a divine plan, taqdir mubram. And all of this really leaves us with a huge question for our own lives, doesn't it? In today's crazy, fast-paced economy, how do you balance that hustle, that drive to succeed, with this idea that your fortune, your ups and your downs, is ultimately part of a divine test? That's a deep one to chew on. Thanks for digging into it with me on The Explainer.